I hope that's a
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so informative. So let me explain what is Informatica Analyst and what are the different questions in parallel. I'll also tell. You can note it down, though in the recording I'll share the whole session. There also it will be available, but if you want, you can note it down also, or you can just go through the session and can see. Okay. So let me open a doc for you to easily understand, right? Okay, so what we did see, first of all, as I was discussing yesterday a little bit about the IDQ architecture, right? So as I was telling that one of the part, so what is actually Informatica Analyst? Okay, Informatica Analyst. So Informatica Analyst is a web UI kind of. So as you can see, right, it's an um, you can access from the browser. So it's not a client, right? It's, you can access from the browser with an web URL. Uh, this Informatica Analyst. So Informatica Analyst, it's mainly a profiling tool. It's a profiling. It is used for profiling mainly. Is used for profiling and scorecard. So I will show you the scorecard. Yesterday I haven't shown you from IDQ developer. So I will show you from the analyst. That's why I haven't shown. So it is mainly used for profiling and scorecard. It also does some kind of data governance activities like business glossaries, data lineage, not data lineage, business glossaries and all those. Though it is not obviously the part of this training, and also right now, as I was discussing yesterday, right, ETC and Axon came, so mainly it is done there. So analyst mainly is used for building profiling. You can add profiling rules and you can create scorecard and you can automate the whole process, right? So one of the questions which first comes, like, what is Informatica Analyst, how you create profile in Informatica Analyst and scorecards. That is one of the basic questions which are being asked during any interview when it comes to analyst. Obviously this is the first question, it will come up, pretty much sure, right? So you can just tell, like, info. So there are two things, right? Yesterday there was Informatica developer. So this is Informatica developer, right? So from here we created profiles, we added a rule as a maplet, right? Maplet as a rule, and then we executed the profile. We saw the drill down option and all those. So this also can be done via analyst, and analyst is little bit business friendly, like not all. Like if someone is little bit technical from the business end, they sometimes they use analyst, but most of the cases you have to obviously share the reports and all those stuff to the business SME, and most of the time they will not log in into the analyst. So okay, so I'll just quickly go through analyst. So so another question which might come, you can note it down. Means why analyst is used if we can do profiling in IDQ developer, right? Sometimes this is another question it comes. As you have seen, right, profiling we have already did in developer, right? We created profiles, as if you remember, right? These profiles we Boston custom we already created it. But why we use analyst? Because the scorecard and automation of these things is mainly done via analyst, which I will obviously show in the demo. Now, what is scorecard? This is another question which might come. What is scorecard, right? Scorecard is nothing but a graphical representation of profiling result. Graphical representation of profiling result, or you can tell graphical representations of valid or invalid records for a source or sources. Okay. So it's a graphical representation. During the demo, I will show you. It will make you will get clear, right? What does graphical representation of valid invalid this thing means actually. So let's start with analyst. What exactly it is. So this is how the analyst looks when we log in. Okay. First thing first, like there's a new option from where you can Obviously, import flat files, you can import table data objects. Table data object means, for example, if you have Oracle tables you want to connect, so they are, so if you click on the table data object, so I'll show you this one when we go to the mapping and all those. I'm just giving a just a heads up. So if you see the table data object from there, obviously you can say I'll show you. Right now, no connection has been built, and okay, so these are all different connections, but I'll show you this. I will create a different connection for you guys. So for the time being, like here we can input flat files, table data objects. We can create profiles, right? Mapping specification, and we can create reference table, which we already did in from developer. Same thing. I'll show you. This is an open object. So if I click on open, so here it will show already all the objects which are present for that user in different projects or in folders. For example, data object. You remember, right? We under this project demo, we have already imported this data object. So all these are showing.
So these are actually loaded through developer and it will be visible here, right?
Yeah, both are synced. Correct.
Both
So
are same.
correct. So good question. So analyst and developer is connected with this DIS services and the MRS services because they are pointing to the same repository. Okay, and DIS services is nothing. Whenever you are running the mapping and anything, obviously the DIS get triggered. So with the services, both these are interconnected. For example, yesterday I created a profile. Even today, if I create a profile from developer now, it gets syncs within a matter of seconds. Like obviously I can't tell the exact second what it takes, but maximum 30 seconds or 1 minute means you log in and you will see the data. That's it. Suppose the profile, if I click on the profile, so you will see already yesterday I created this. So here you can just, so this is created by administrator. It is giving yesterday's date, which is 14th April. During 143 we have created, and so these are all synced up. So there is no issue with that. Okay. IDQ developer and this
So
analyst.
in and it is vice versa also.
Yes, vice versa. Correct. Both are synced with each other.
Yeah.
So
So but we can't create any kind of transformations and all. It is not done in this.
no, it's only for profiling and scorecarding. Any kind of mapping you cannot create. Any maplet you cannot create here. You cannot deploy it as a work. So only profiling and scorecarding. That's the main thing. Another obviously are there which is not part of data quality because it is a part of the data governance. You can build business glossaries and all this. That's a part of data governance. So right now EDC and Axon Informatica already came up with that. So people are not using analyst now for business glossaries or anything right now. So yeah, so as I was telling, if you click on open, first thing you will see assets, mapping specific profiles created, reference table. We also created one yesterday that customer. It's visible here also. Rules, right? We have created this maplet, so this rule will be visible, but you obviously you cannot create a rule as a maplet here. But you can obviously create a simple rules. I'll show you from analyst, not as a maplet, like not as a transformation, but with a regular expression, we can create rules from analyst as well and can run that. Scorecard, I will show you today how to create scorecard, how we can export scorecard, what exactly scorecard means, what is the business values, right? So that it helps you to understand exactly what it is rather than just learning, right? So what exactly it is. Project. So right now we have one single project demo. So obviously as you create more project, everything will be visible here. Okay. So that is for the open part. Okay, there is nothing fancy about it. Very simple. If you want to, you are created already a profile. You want to see it, then obviously you can click on the open and you can see it. Suppose I want to see this profile, for example. So you can just click that profile and you can see it. Okay, so you can see this. So uh, profile run, we have ran it twice. That's why 2 of 2. Okay. If suppose you have ran it for the second time, the profile is unsuccessful, then it will be showing profile run 1 of 2. Right. That means one of the time it got unsuccessful. It came out with the error. Okay. 19 of 20, why? Because you remember, right, we have unselected one miscellaneous date column, last column. So that's why 19 of 20 it is showing total. One of one rules, because we have added one rule, right? City null maplet. That's why one of one rules. This is the total number of rows. This is the last execution when it happened. Okay. And one thing, readability point of view, it's not good. As per me, right? So if you see customer ID here, null, then distinct, non-distinct, and percentage, it's very hard to come up with what are different. So that's why better always when you run a profile, export it. I'll show you how to export and everything. Okay, export the profile and then see it from the Excel. That is the best way to see the report rather than trying to answer. This is the null. This is the distinct, this is non-distinct percentage, so it's not quite readable format. I don't like the readability from here. It was better in developer, much better. So what I do generally is I export it and then see the result rather than trying here and I make some mistake to understand. Okay. These tabs are very simple tabs. I will tell you one by one. Columns and rules. This is quite simple. Like as you know, there are 19 columns and one rule, so 20 is the total. 19 columns are there, so if I click on this, only those 19 columns will be shown. If you click on this, you can see only the rule, right? 100% null. Okay, so if you click on 100% null, it will show this one, that these two columns have no records are there, right? Full are null. 100% distinct, customer ID is 100% distinct, right? So it gives a good one, right? By filter you can click and see like what are those. 100% constant means only single values there in the region Boston. Conflicting data type, so create date, there is a conflicting, as you see there were others also in the data type if you remember last time. So we can drill down that and can see these are not applicable, which is fine. Okay, so this is all about opening a profile. Okay, now let us see how to create a profile, then we'll export it the same thing again. Okay, so how to create a profile in Analyst, right? So you will go to click, suppose, first of all, obviously, if the flat file or table data object is not present, you can obviously, you need to import it, right? But so suppose the flat file, I guess I have shown you yesterday, so I'm not showing it. Is same, right, developer. It's very simple, right? You can just browse it from your local and can just take it and then finish it, right? It will get imported. I'm not going that much. So new. So you have to click on profile. Okay. Single source and enterprise discovery. Enterprise discovery again, like if you want to go with what columns, that means all those stuffs. Obviously, again, as I told it, it goes not used that much. It goes for the governance part. But single source, we'll go with the single source now. Okay, you can give the name. Suppose profile underscore all customer. I guess all customer profile is not there. Let me check. All customer is there. So let me do another profile. LA customer, for example. Okay, so LA customer. Okay. Description is good to give description again, as I was telling. Like you can just write that profiling for LA customer data source. That's it. Nothing fancy. Column, like where you want to actually in which project you want to create the profile. So project demo. Okay. So you can select the project. I selected it. I'll click on next. Here it is written select a data object. Now we'll select the flat file from that location, right? We have already seen. So Here you can see the we can select. So we can take the LA customer. From there you can see all the columns. If you want to do data preview also to see how the data looks, suppose you haven't seen the data, uh, so you can see it from here also. Something okay. Okay, so now your all the columns are selected here. Okay, with miscellaneous date, everything is selected. Same thing, if you want to unselect any of those, I have already shown in developer. Suppose I don't want to do miscellaneous date, you can do the same thing. Okay, deselect which column you don't want to do profiling on. So let me do the profiling for all the columns this time. I'll click on next. So here the changes which is required, run column profile. This is obviously yes, we want to run column profile. We don't want to run data domain discovery. Uh, Run data domain discovery and data generic conformance criteria for data domain. These are not required much. Okay. Run profile on, you want to do it on all rows, sample first. So if you want to do suppose data profiling on sample first 100 rows for example, right, it might happen like you want there are millions of record, but you don't want to, the requirement is a customer is telling don't, you don't have to run for all the records, just give me a sample of first 1000 records, do that randomly, first 100,000 records, run it through and give me the result. So you can select sample first. Random sample means if you want to do of random 1000 records, it will auto randomly pick 1000 records and do the profiling. Okay. And sample random auto, this is nothing but automatically it will pick random number of records and will execute. Okay. But I will do all rows. Anyhow, only 2000 records are there, right? 1999. Drill down option is obviously live. So this is a little bit advanced question. Uh, I don't think anyone will ask you, but it's good to know like what drill down, live, stage, off, what does that mean, right? So live data is something where you are directly picking the data from the database or flat file, right? You are directly picking the data. So the advantage of this is like if any changes in the flat file or in the database, suppose you are picking a data from the Oracle table, so obviously, some increment data come, some update might happen, some insertion might happen, right? So if it's a live, then when you run the profile, right, it will automatically take the updated or inserted records or updated records. So it's a live, right? It's picking the record directly from the uh, database or tables if any changes happen. But one of the disadvantages performance related. Okay, stage, why it is good, like suppose stage means you are, suppose in the Oracle database 1000 records are there, right, and you are running that record. So IDQ Informatica server, what it will do, it will create a cache memory of that 1000 records. So it will staged, means it will take that 1000 record, create its own cache of that 1000 records. So suppose you want to rerun those record, right? So it will run very fast because the records are already present in the cache. But one of the disadvantages, obviously, if there are some updates and all those happens, right, in the source record, the update will not come, right? So myself, I haven't much used the stage. I generally recommend to go with the live unless and until you have a problem with the memory in the server or the RAM, then only we go for stage. But I haven't faced any issues. I generally go with the live because updates, insertion, all those happens, and we have to pick those records, right? Native Hive, this I've already told, so nothing fancy about it. Native means it's just will run on the runtime environment. Any question?
No.
Yeah, I clicked on next. So in the next, you can see this is very important. Okay, I will create a rule for you. First, I will run the profile. Okay, so here we can create a rule. Let me create a rule itself. So what happens? We can create a rule and also apply filter. So how to create a rule? it is a little bit different. We cannot obviously see. One is apply existing rule we can use. So here you can see in, as I was saying, right, maplet is a reusable component. So here obviously we can reuse. So today now see I have used a different file, so I can reuse this maplet. Okay, how to use, I'll show you. Same thing, like I clicked on this is the things. I click on OK. Input is this, description this are there. So same thing like input you can add. So what is my input and output? So I have city. Okay, my input is city, output is OCT, right? So here one of the reusable rule we can obviously use like this. Okay, how to create a rule? Click on create rule. Now suppose I have written rule underscore. Um, Suppose a simple rule. Minute. Let me see what are the columns. Okay, simple rule. Suppose zip code. Okay, so I want to check like if the zip code, the length of zip code is equals to 5 or 9, then it's fine. Otherwise, make it invalid. Okay, so zip length checked. Okay, this is the rule I'm trying to create. Do you want to save this rule as a reusable rule? You can save it as a reusable rule also if you want. Okay. Now I will write that expression. Okay. Suppose length. Okay. So any kind of issue, or again there is a function. Suppose obviously it's not, even I also don't know all the function. I haven't used all the function. I don't think everyone knows everything, right? So you can obviously check in case I don't know anything. I obviously click and check it, and accordingly I do it. Okay. So what I will do, I'll do the length checks. Okay. Length of what was that, zip. I double click length of zip. Suppose length of zip is equal to, for example, 5. So if length of zip suppose equals to 5, for example, I click on OK. Just a moment, it's taking some time. Okay, so if we edit on this rule, this is fine only. Okay, let me recreate another time. Create rule, rule zip length check, length of zip is equals to 5. Okay. Validate the question content is valid. Okay, if you click on OK, okay, one is invalid menu. Okay, I guess the rule was already created. Just a moment. I don't know why. Just a moment. Let me save it. Save and finish. Let me click on open profile. Okay, this profile, I guess something happened. Okay, profile single source. profile underscore LA customers. I'll select the location. Next, I'll select the data object, LA customer. I'll click on next. I'll again click on next. Okay, let me create that rule just a moment. Yeah, it is mentioned. Um, Rule zip length check. Okay, so length of zip is equals to 5. I'll validate it. The expression is valid. I click on OK. Okay, it came up. I don't know that time why it didn't come up. Okay, like this, you can obviously set rules. And suppose if you want to edit, you can click on and edit the rule or delete the rule. Okay, you can click it here. So let me reiterate what I just told. You can right click. You can click on create. You can use this any functions. Okay, suppose is none, length, consolidations, date compare, any function, but always remember the output of profiling is always boolean, yes or no. Okay, what does that mean? See, I have not written if and else here. Okay, why? Because in profiling here from analyst, it tells like if my length is equals to 5, then it's true, otherwise false. It will return 1 or 0. Okay, anyone have any question? Okay. Okay, so it's a boolean. Always remember profiling output is boolean. Yes or no means true or false or 1 or 0. Okay, whatever you write here is true. Whatever I'm writing is true. Otherwise, it will be false. Okay. Filter obviously suppose there's a scenario again. Suppose you have multiple country data, but you want to do for US country only. So you can click create filter. Suppose filter on country, right? This is very simple. You can do just by country. Operator will be equals to, not equals to, greater than, everything is there. The simple operators equals to, and you can just give the value. Suppose US. Okay. Um, this is the advanced filter. Again, you can write regex expressions if you want. Right. Same thing. If you write something like this, country is equals to, sorry, country is equals to US. Like this, you can write, or you can have Pompous regex. SQL is not right here, but if you are importing a table, Oracle table, anything, then you can write SQL also. Select star from query is where clause you can write it from here. Okay. So right now, one of the simple we are using country equals to US. Obviously, you can see the output of the data from the preview. You can just write, click on the refresh button. It will show you. So these are all only for US data. Click on OK. Now your filter country is there, but remember one thing, you have to select this. Okay, you have to apply this and then select this, otherwise it will not work. You have to click on apply filter. This is a very common mistake many people does who are newbies. They only write the filter and they run and they again see, oh my, nothing is working for me. Why? I've seen many times. So you have to click here and here also. Okay, so I'm removing it for the time being. I'm not, so you can just click and delete the filter. Okay, I'm just removing it for the time being. Yeah.
So as you said, like a rule is always like Boolean.
Hmm.
Suppose I want to create a rule like case conversion, like suppose
No, you cannot
this
write.
you cannot write.
No, see, why we do profiling? So tell me a use case where case conversion. Suppose what you want to achieve. For example, case conversion. You are telling like whether my all the records are uppercase or not, something like that, or you have to convert into case.
Yeah, yeah, something like that. Like if I wanted to check if all the characters are not, all the letters are not uppercase, I want to change.
Yeah, any kind of boolean you can check. That's what I was telling. That you, so profiling, you cannot modify the data. So if you are doing, suppose converting a case, that you cannot do within profile. But if you want to check any if else logic, which is outcome is boolean, right? That whether it's a date column or not, whether it's a numeric column or not, right? We always check those things. Suppose phone number column is coming, but there are strings somewhere. So that's why one of the rules we have always write that is the phone number column is number phone number. Simple. If it's written true, then obviously it's numeric, otherwise it will be non-numeric, right? Suppose I'll just show you how you can do that. Create rule, go to create rule. Suppose phone number is not there. Suppose I'm giving an example. Suppose your status is phone number, for example, right? So what we will do, there's a is number function is there. If you're not acquainted, it might happen there are so many functions are there, everyone doesn't know everything, as I was telling. So you can just go down and you will see is null is there. See is number is there, right? You can just click on this and it will tell you numeric, it will return data type only numeric. Returns 1 if string, right? If string s is a valid number or 0 otherwise, means 0 means false. So I will write is underscore number and suppose the phone number column was there, you can write it like this. It will give you the true and false accordingly. Okay. So whatever we can do will be within this function only. Okay, suppose upper string is there, right? That thing you are telling. You can just write upper comma the thing, whatever will be upper will be valid, otherwise invalid. Okay. But to date and all those will not work because it converts the thing, right? It will not work here in the profiling functions. Got it?
Yes.
Yeah. See, this I mean, you will learn it. Like suppose replace, right? Replace will not work because you are modifying the data. So just simple thing in a profiling, wherever you are not modifying the data, but your output is boolean, yes or no. If you can think like I can write a simple if else logic, then you can write in a profiling. If you are telling no, I want to write something that if suppose my phone number is this, then write you are writing then customer ID should be 000. That thing will not work in profile. It will return an error, right? Because you are modifying the data and all those. Okay. So profiling rules are always mainly if and else logic. If my if suppose state is null, then invalid. All the stuff will happen always. So once you have written this rule, for example, applied filter apply. I have already shown you. You can apply filter like this. Then click on. So there are two options in save and run, save and finish. Save and finish will do only will save your profile. It will not run it. And here I will click on save and run. So what it will do, it will save the profile and also run the profile. Okay, so let's see the output now. So your profile is running, is in progress. Just give 30 seconds maximum. I don't think it should take much time. 30 to 1 minute. Okay, it ran. So here whenever you see profile 1 of 1, that means it ran successfully. Okay. Even if it doesn't run, you will get an error. So don't worry about that. It will be a self-explanatory error. So 19 of 19 columns, 1 of 1 rules. So there were 500 rows and just now it ran. So date is matching, everything is fine. Okay, so here you can just quick glance like 100% null is three columns have 100% null, CT2 also is null. It should be customer ID, yeah, 100% distinct. So same thing, right? I'm not going again. So, and this is the thing. See 0, 1 and 1 is the output as I was telling. Okay. So let us do one thing. So now what I generally do, I don't look into the result, but it's obviously up to you. If you it might have you better understand than me, but I don't understand much these things. It's very clumsy. So what I do, I directly export the data. So how we can export? The profile is already open. There is a down arrow, and here export data. So file name is profile this. It will be exported in a Excel like this. I want to export all the data, all means summary, values, pattern, same thing. Code page is ASCII, which is fine. I don't have any issue. English character, it should not be any. But good practices, you can take UTF-8. Okay, so that's fine. I clicked on export, so it is exporting the profile result. It takes some time. This export sometimes takes some time. Let's give some 20 to 30 seconds. It should, yeah. So here now it got exported. I'll open the file. So this is my LA customer. I'm not going through. I've already told you same thing. The only thing I'll show you the zip code length check. I hope you already know all this, right? I have explained everything how it looks. Same. It will show. We have exported from IDQ developer, Informatica developer. Same format. Everything same. But if you see this thing, so here you can see one of the values. Just a moment. If I click on 2, here you can see if I told like if the length is 5, then 2. So this will be all 5. Okay. And this 0 is 89. Best way to obviously drill down is from the developer. Your developer have a good drill down option there. Okay, so this is 1 and 0. As I was telling, 1 and 0 it will come. 1 means true as per the condition you have set. That means for us, 1 is nothing but this all records. The zip code was, the length of the zip code was 5, and these records were not 5, different. Okay, so likewise, we can set multiple rules and everything will come underneath accordingly. Statistics, I'm not going through all this, so I've already told from the developer, and hopefully you might not have any questions regarding this.